Port channel LACP configuration in NixOS. In this video, I'm going to show you how we can configure LACP, Link Aggregation Control Protocol, for creating port channels in NixOS. The concept of the port channel is so similar with the concept of port channel in the iOS in compare of the NixOS. Okay, let me first to review the concept of port channel. After that, we can talk about the configuration of the port channel, and after that, verifying the port channel. You know that LACP, okay, is a protocol that is created for the aggregation for port channel creation. Link Aggregation Control Protocol with the standard of IEEE 802.3AD. Okay, we can use the, for example, LACP to first checking the compatibility parameters between two switches. For example, you know that when you are using the static method and after that configuring one of these interfaces as the channel group member, no negotiation should occur between two switches, and this may result, for example, some compatibility issues between two switches. For example, maybe or between or under one switch, for example, one of the interfaces has different duplex with other interfaces, and this may result to the, for example, unconditioned port channel, or a port channel doesn't work correctly. Okay, because of that, link aggregation protocol or LACP can help us. Link aggregation protocol or LACP first can check the compatibility between the interfaces, and if it finds that all of the interfaces has compatibility with each other and also with the other switch, it can finally result to the creating the port channel. And you know that we can't say the LACP method is better than a static method, or a static method is better than the LACP method. Why? Because in some conditions, maybe for example, in a good condition link, you don't need to negotiate between the switches, and you don't need to extra traffic of the for example LACP protocol, because of that you are using the static method. And in some cases you need the LACP, and because of that you are using the LACP. Because of that, both of these methods can be used in different scenarios. Very good. Now we should configure the LACP. In LACP we have two modes, active and passive. In the passive mode, when you are configuring one interface as passive, on that interface LACP is enabled, okay, and that interface is in the passive negotiating states. This means that these ports respond the LACP packet that it receives, but does not initiate LACP negotiation. For example, assume that we have switch 1 and also connected to the switch 2. When you are using both of this interface, the interface of switch 1 in passive mode, because none of these interfaces start the negotiation of the LACP, finally we don't have a port channel. But when you are configuring one interface in the active state, this means that LACP is enabled on this port channel, okay, and the ports are in an active negotiating states. Ports initiates negotiations with other ports by sending LACP packets. For example, when I'm configuring the active state on one side, this one side start the initiation of the LACP with the other sides, and because in the other side now passive state is enabled, for example, passive should accept and should continue the negotiation, and finally we have one port channel. Because of that, you can see that when one interface in switch 1 is passive, this is the switch 1, and in the switch 2 other interface is active, we have the port channel. But if you configure both interface as the passive, we will not have the port channel. If you configure both sides as active, also we have the port channel. Both the passive and active mode allows LACP to negotiate between ports to determine if they can okay, if they can form a port channel based on criteria such as the port speed and the trunking state, okay? The passive mode is useful when you do not know whether the remote system or partner support LACP. Very good. How we can configure the LACP? The first things that you should do is enabling this feature. You know that by default, the feature LACP, okay, is not, for example, available, and you can enable this feature with the feature LACP command. After that, you should configure the channel group number with mode active or passive to enabling the LACP. Let me to show you how we can configure LACP in this scenario. In this scenario, we have NXOS1 and NXOS2 connected together with 4 links between them. Now I'm going to show you how we can configure the LACP for port channel creation. Let me start with the switch 1. This is the switch 1, conf host name, then switch 1, okay, host name, switch 1. Then we should configure interface ETH11 with this command. For example, we should enable the feature LACP. Look at here, when we don't have we don't enable the feature LACP and using the for example channel group mode and then mode for example active. Look at here, active. You can see that we are receiving one message: LACP process needs to be started before configure active or passive mode. First, we should enable the feature LACP. Let me to start it, feature LACP. Now we can configure the LACP. The important things is that first we should ensure that all of these interfaces have compatibility with each other, and after that we can start the configuration. Okay, look at here, interface ETH11. Assume that in the NXOS1 I'm going to use all interfaces in the active state. Okay, I'm going to configure channel group, okay, channel group, then number, for example channel group 1, and after that you know that we can use forcefully add a port. In the previous video I showed you, and now we have mode option, channel group 1 mode. Look at here, 3 modes are available. The mode on is using for the manual method or static method. We experienced this method in the previous video, and now we have 2 other methods, active or passive. Channel group 1 mode, for example active. That's it. Okay, let's go to the interface ETH12. Again, channel group 1 mode active. Interface ETH13, channel group 1 mode active, and interface ETH14, okay, channel group 1 mode active. Now we can check the port channel. First, show IP interface brief, okay, or for example show port channel. We should use show port channel summary. Look at here. In show port channel summary, you can use that we created port channel 1s, but the port channel in the now is in the down state. Why? Because we didn't enable the port channel in the NXOS2, and because LACP first should negotiate with other side, now the port channel has down state. Okay, ETH is the type of the interfaces, port core is LACP, ETH11, ETH12, ETH13, ETH14 now are member ports of this port channel, but all of these interfaces now are suspended because we didn't enable the LACP on the other side. Also, show interface ETH11. Look at here, this is the ETH11. The ETH11 now is in the down state, suspended, no LACP because of LACP. Okay, let me to configure the NXOS2, the switch 2, host name switch 2, and then first we should enable the feature LACP. After that, interface, the interface ETH11. The first command is channel group. You can use the same channel group number or different. I'm going to use channel group 2. Okay, channel group 2. For example, mode. In here, I'm going to use the passive mode. In the switch 1, I use the active mode. In the switch 2, I'm using the passive mode. Channel group 2, mode passive. This is the first command. Interface ETH12, again channel group 2 mode passive. interface ETH1 3 channel group 2 mode passive, and finally interface ETH1 4 channel group 2, okay, channel group 2 mode passive. Now we can check the state of the port channel starting from switch 1. Show port channel summary. This is the same command before I use show port channel summary. As you can see, now we have one enabled port channel. U means the up port channel, and S means the layer 2 or switched port channel. The type is ETH and the protocol is LACP. Also, we have 4 active members, 4 up members in the, for example, port channel. Everything is good. And after that, show interface, for example, port channel 1 can show us that this interface has 4 gigabit per second bandwidth. After that, in NXOS2, show, for example, port channel summary. Look at here. In show port channel summary, we can find this is the port channel 2, and port channel 2 now is up in up state, SU. The type of this port channel is Ethernet, L protocol is LACP, and all of these ports now are up. The last command we can use for monitoring in the, for example, port channel is show port channel. Look at here, database. In show port channel database, we can see the state of the interfaces, you know that, or the mode of the interfaces. In the NXOS2, we use the passive mode. We can see the passive mode here. And also in the switch 1, show port channel, okay, then database. Look at here, the Ethernet 1.1, Ethernet 1.2, Ethernet 1.3, and 1.4 now are in the active status. Okay, this is the configuration of port channel with LACP, but we will talk about the LACP features, other features in the future videos.